Welcome back to another episode of the Caffeinated Librarians. I'm back.
Amanda is back.
After
And
2
ready.
weeks.
Guess who's back again?
It's me. So for this week,
Amanda?
we are going to...
You said
Our viewers won't even know because, we've been airing them a little out of order. So,
Well, I'm back.
be
If an episode
confused.
before this I was missing, I'm back.
She's back since the last time you watched her.
Yes. It's creepy. So speaking of creepy, though, we're looking at Katie's pick and looking at the first episode of the 1996 Cartoon Network show Courage the Cowardly Dog.
So this is part of a series of Would You Watch It? So would we like to... I think this is the first one we've done of this.
yes, yeah,
yeah,
we're
it's
kicking
The
it off.
start of a
It's the
new
first.
mini-series.
So why don't we explain what this series is?
So, okay. Do you want to explain?
No, please take it away.
So for this, each of us has decided to pick a TV show, pick the first episode of a TV show that is beloved to us, and maybe ones that people here haven't seen, and maybe you haven't seen. And we encourage you to watch the first episode. We all have watched the first episode of a chosen show. This week is Katie's Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Wow,
And-
you just stole her thunder.
No, I didn't.
She was getting ready to say the title of the show.
No,
She
I-
was pumping it up, and Amanda just
And basically,
Stop
since we're
causing
going to be
trouble.
talking about it,
stole it.
it's up for you to decide, would you watch it? Would you continue watching on your own? Or
And we're going to tell you what we think.
Mm-hmm.
if we liked it, if we hated it. But maybe not hated it, no. So,
Courage got some explaining to do. All right.
you were having some issues.
Why does he have holes in his teeth? That was bothering me.
That was a
Bad-
big
he's
deal
got
with the
bad
art
hygiene.
style.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
That was just, I think, an art
They don't
choice.
give him enough of the rawhide chews
Yeah.
to brush his teeth with.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
thought those were bad for
I didn't like that.
No, those help them clean their teeth.
Nom, nom, nom.
Yeah.
Humans need that. But we have toothbrushes.
Yeah.
So, I guess, and we're excited
We've
away.
got opposable
And
thumbs.
opposable thumbs.
Gives us
Start
a
chewing
bit of
on
an
bones.
advantage there.
So this show did come out it started airing in 1996
This is
with a pilot episode. It is created by John Dilworth.
John.
Dilworth.
Dilworth.
Cool.
His
Now-
name is in every episode.
I know a lot of those
Not John Dillinger.
Cartoon
No.
Network shows shared a lot of creatives.
Mm-hmm.
Did he work on anything else?
You know, I'm not entirely sure. I can check though. It looks like he did work for several different channels, but let me see if there's anything worth. Nothing that I'm aware of, that I know of. It looks like he worked on a bunch of little things spanning from like MTV, Comedy Central, Nickelodeon, BBC, Teletoon, NBC, ABC, Fox, HBO, Showtime.
Teletoon's
CBS,
the
and
Canadian one, right?
Which one?
Teletoon, that's Canadian. That's Canada, right? I said Canadian.
Maybe.
This
Is it
isn't
Canadian?
important.
Yes, it is Canadian.
Let Katie talk about the show.
Yes.
Katie.
Why did you choose Courage the Cowardly Dog?
Well, I chose Courage the Cowardly Dog because I grew up watching Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Same here.
Yeah, and I thought it was really, like, growing up, I liked the fact that it was a weird cartoon that had some elements of, like, creepiness to it, I guess, for lack of a better word.
It's a weird ass show.
Yeah, but it's fun, and I love Courage. I love how, like, he has like this one liner that like in the first episode, he says, I know I saw a burglar here, or my name isn't Shirley, or my name is Shirley, and it's not. And he does that throughout the series, and it's great. I like, it's so like nostalgia for me because I grew up watching it, and I didn't know if you guys all had seen Courage the Cowardly Dog before, and wanted to share some things from my own childhood, and because I loved it.
I did grow up with it. So
Yeah,
I
feel
watched
I
that like
figured-
every week on a new episode.
Yeah, I figured
did.
you would have.
it was
seen it.
it was right in my alley.
Yeah. Right in
Yeah, I
your
saw a lot of it
wheelhouse.
growing up.
Yeah. Back in my youth, I also watched it
My youth.
regularly. But I'll be honest with you. I liked it back then. I remember, if it was on, I was watching it. I wouldn't say it was one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
But rewatching this did kind of remind me of the ones that I did watch. I was big with Dexter's Laboratory. And then it kind of made me think of, like, I also watched the Power Rangers a lot. Like, I was really into Power Rangers. What? Well, you're not into the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers?
I was not growing up, no. Anything live action wasn't for me.
Go Power Rangers?
Saban,
You know-
Super Sentai, how dare you? Get out of here.
It was all the fight scenes were just from a Japanese show. It was
Yeah.
Power Rangers, but like there's a show sort of in that style about Spider-Man,
Oh, yeah?
and really want to watch Japanese Spider-Man because he has a mech in it, and it's just Spider-Man piloting like the Megazord or whatever. Like that sounds awesome.
Nice. So yeah, the X-Men cartoons,
Yeah,
stuff
Saturday
like
morning
that. Yeah.
cartoons.
So yeah, remind me.
X-Men got the best theme song.
Oh
It
yeah,
did.
that is good stuff.
Me sitting in my living room with the lights somewhat still off because my mom's in bed
Having
still.
sugary Cheerios or sugary
Eggo
cereal.
waffles.
Yeah. or waffles.
Toasted Eggo waffles with a
I was
pat of
too
butter.
I was too lazy as a child to make Eggo waffles.
All right, so best cereal ever, Frosted Cheerios.
No.
Frosted Cheerios are up there.
Frosted Cheerios are god tier, and no one recognizes it.
No, Frosted Cheerios are definitely up there.
Well, why are you acting like that? This is an awful take, Katie.
Frosted Flakes.
Frosted
like
Flakes are
either.
good, but they get too soggy.
No, they don't.
You have to eat
gotta
them really
you gotta
quick.
put in the right amount of milk in order for them
Waffle
not
Crisp.
to get soggy.
Waffle Crisp is the cereal
I don't think I ever
champions.
had Waffle
That's my
Crisp.
favorite cereal.
I don't know if that counts.
It
That's
does.
not
They're
like
selling
an
it again.
Everyday cereal.
It is now. They brought it back.
Kix. Kix is good.
Kix is good. I like
Y'all are,
Kix. Kix were
Boring. What is this? Where's your sugary
kid tested,
milk?
mother approved, Amanda.
I'm a
But
big
it's
fan
mother
of.
approved.
but it
If
was
your
kid-
mom approves of
but it was
why-
kid
Yeah.
tested.
a big fan of
It was-
Fruity Pebbles.
Okay, there we
Fruity
go.
Pebbles,
There we
fun
go.
one. But like, here's the thing:
corn
some of them
cereal.
got a little too extreme. Because like, I'm stealing a bit from some comedian now. I forget which one, but like
Go for
Cookie
it.
Crisp, they went too far.
Agreed.
I'm not gonna lie, that was like a once every a year
Be-
kind of a
because
thing.
it's just cookies. That's
Yeah.
all it is.
Cinnamon
It's
Toast
just
Crunch.
like the
cookies.
Oreo O's.
Yo, those
That's
are
not
gross.
cereal. That's
those
dessert.
were nasty. I love Oreos, but that was awful.
I didn't.
I'd rather have an Oreo cookie.
It didn't taste like Oreos.
It didn't. I never had it.
It was disgusting.
I wasn't big on chocolate cereal. I wasn't
like
big on
Cocoa
chocolate in the
Puffs.
morning.
Cocoa Puffs were
Not
great.
any of
Have
the
that
others, really. I wanted to like Count Chocula more than I did.
It turned your milk to chocolate milk.
I liked Cocoa
I could just
Pebbles
drink chocolate.
occasionally.
Get chocolate.
Or I liked
Make
Cocoa
chocolate.
Puffs. But Cinnamon Toast Crunch was another to go to for
That's
me.
it. That's a classic.
I did like Fruit Loops.
I
Fruit
liked
Loops. Yeah, pretty much undefeated. I'd say.
Tricks, I would say occasionally.
Tricks, I never liked.
Ooh.
I don't know if I
Silly
had
rabbit.
Tricks.
Me and
Tricks are
Brian
for kids.
argue over. I liked it when they had like the fruit pieces. They look like fruits, but now they're like little circles. Like
Yeah, what a
Fruit
jip.
Loops.
Oh,
Right?
We're ignoring Captain Crunch.
I did like Captain Crunch, but it
good
leaves
stuff.
a weird film.
It
was
just
it?
destroys the roof of your
Oh,
mouth.
yeah,
it
no.
felt like.
It's like you're like,
the
man, I
best
love
part.
this, but am I ready to like
So,
tear it up?
I mean, there were cereals my mom
Apple
would
Jacks.
not buy for
Like
me.
what?
Like Tricks, the
Because they abused that rabbit.
Cocoa Crisps,
And the leprechaun.
the
Lucky Charms.
I
wasn't-
hated it as a
my
kid.
mom wouldn't
Love
buy.
it as an adult.
My mom wouldn't buy. It was
Only
Cookie
marshmallow.
Crisp.
Now you have an advanced palate. You can enjoy the dry marshmallows.
I liked only the marshmallows as a kid. I didn't like the
cereal part.
cereal part. But as an adult, I can now appreciate both. Even though I don't eat Cheerios.
You know what cereal I have now? I have freaking corn flakes.
Get rid
Like
of
just
it.
like
Throw it away.
bran flakes.
Just get rid of it.
High protein
You know,
bran
disgusting.
flakes.
Honey Nut Cheerios.
You know,
Yeah, Cheerios are
Mr.
great.
Kellogg was like a maniac, right?
No.
Yeah, no, it was
he
a-
like made cornflakes to like. He said he thought it would like decrease like sexual activity. I don't know. Dude was nuts.
He did, yeah. He was a super Christian and he believed that these things. He had a whole anti sex campaign with it. He said
And-
it was an anti
Yeah, and somehow
Say it, but-
somehow he was like like bland cereal will
That's
fix
gonna
it.
do it. It's all that sugar, man.
Yeah. Well, I
I
gotta
just
tell you,
put
all
sugar
this.
on top of my cornflakes if I had cornflakes.
all this-
Mr. Kellogg would
Well,
cry.
trying to be a little. I was trying to be a little healthy,
Yeah,
so
if he was
I
alive,
got the
he's
high
gaining.
protein, the high protein cereal, you know, and everything.
Mm-hmm.
No sugar, no goodness, no happiness, just despair in a bowl. That's basically what
Go
it
buy
is.
yourself.
You get some Raisin Bran.
Ew.
Disgusting.
Just terrible.
Blah.
The box is still there though.
Simona, do you
What
have any
did Joe? What
cereals?
did you
Make
think
eggs.
of Courage the
No,
Cowardly Dog?
no cereals?
I watched it a lot as a kid.
Okay.
I enjoyed it then, though some episodes I found a little too upsetting. Because
Oh,
it was just
yeah.
like, all right,
Yeah.
you're scaring me too much now, Courage.
I think that's an
Chill.
interesting theme of cartoon. I mean, I don't know about cartoons now, but cartoons back then definitely had some disturbing themes. Like,
But they
Abuse.
did it in a way that
that made you laugh at the abuse. Yeah.
I don't know.
It's just
gonna
I,
say
bad.
I can't look at Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah.
That,
That's what I'm saying.
that is like
Stimpy's
viscerally
like-
disgusting.
Yeah.
I wasn't allowed to watch Ren and Stimpy.
That was probably for the best.
Yeah.
Oh, I watched it.
Even like, remember Little Monsters?
All
The-
Real
Monsters?
Monsters.
Real
Real
Monsters.
Monsters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't
like-
like those guys either.
Yeah. I mean,
I watched it.
some
I
of that
watched
stuff.
it.
Yeah, I watched it too. But looking back on it now, it's like some of that stuff is
I don't remember.
a
any
little
of it.
disturbing. I mean,
There's like two.
TV animators got a little wild then.
Yeah.
They were given a lot of freedom all at once, I think.
yeah.
But,
You could always tell when Courage had like the most serious episodes when they didn't have a double, like a back-to-back episode one.
Yeah.
It was straight 30 minutes. Like there was, what was it, the Kitty and Bunny episode? Oh my lord.
Oh, that sounds
one?
adorable.
No, it's not. Kitty and Bunny is this one where it's kind of like a
Amanda just said it wasn't.
Bunny is looking for her friend Kitty, who, as their names are, they are what they are.
Naturally.
Yeah.
And his boyfriend is like an evil Rottweiler gangster guy, and he
Nice.
like basically has like kidnapped her, and so he won't let her go. It's an abusive, toxic relationship, and he's like, "Oh, Kitty, why don't you do this?" She's like, "I don't want. I just want to be with my friend and stuff like that." And so Bunny gets Courage to help help her escape, and then you find out that they love each other. So-
Courage and
Courage and
and the
Kitty
bunny?
and Bunny. Kitty and Bunny get together at the end. 'Cause-
Kitty and Bunny love each other.
Yeah, it was one of the
Aw.
subtle episodes
Yeah.
during the time.
But yeah, this time I watched that episode, and some of it I really liked. I love Courage's computer setup. That's
Table
the
with
best.
computer.
Yeah.
Classic.
That
we all grew up with.
Quack destroyed me. I don't know why. When he just immediately rolling up with a giant hammer got me good.
The fact that the two mustaches was like the mustache was the disguise.
The anti-French sentiment very funny as always.
Muriel.
I forgot that Eustace was like
A jerk.
just irredeemable.
Yeah.
Just
Oh, yeah, no,
awful.
that's what I
Yeah.
liked.
Unpleasant.
He's like, you're gonna be a slave woman to me when she gets amnesia.
Yeah, I was
She's
like,
like,
oh
okay.
my god. No, we just have to hang out with this guy for the rest of the show.
Yeah.
Joe was like freaking out over here. He was like, he's like, I just remember I don't remember him ever being this like.
I
I'm like,
remember him
no.
as mean, but I was like, whoa.
I was telling him like, there's another episode, literally like. Eustace practically cheats on Muriel in one episode. He gets seduced by like some sea monster lady.
Been
Yeah.
there.
And she tries to eat him, but still he's like, oh, yeah. 'Cause she's like, come to me, Eustace. It's like kind of weird, like, you're like,
Muriel, you deserve better.
Yes.
and that's
That's
why
what
Courage
Simona
is there.
was saying. Simona, what do you feel about? How do you feel about this cartoon that I loved growing up and still love?
I certainly remember catching episodes here and there when it was airing, but it's not really a cartoon I would have gravitated towards. I don't know whether it's the animation style, and I was trying to explain to Katie that there are certain things. I don't know whether it's like the loud noises. It's one of the reasons why when my niece was younger, she loved Dora the Explorer, and I couldn't stand Dora because it just sounded like noise. Just endless noise, and I could not stand it. And And it's funny because I used to watch Dexter's Laboratory. I enjoyed watching Dexter's Laboratory. I used to watch the Powerpuff Girls.
Oh, I loved Powerpuff Girls.
Growing up. But yeah, I love Muriel. Eustace is despicable, but I remember him being despicable. Like, I knew he was a character, like, almost wondering why did she even marry him. I found the Quack to be very humorous, especially when Courage escapes from him and he looks at the outhouse and the truck. The outhouse and the truck, but he doesn't investigate.
I think
It's almost like he knows, like, those
This
are the only
doggy
options.
is like Houdini.
Yeah, but, like, he doesn't bother to see whether or not he's in either of those spots. So, and he does that repeatedly, so I was like, okay, well, what's the point? Like, are you going to investigate? He can only be in one of two places. Like, investigating never does. But, yeah, it's, like I said, I've definitely...
What a quack.
Yes. I've definitely caught a few episodes here and there, but it wasn't one... But it definitely wasn't a cartoon that I would have watched religiously. Like, I had, certain cartoons that I really enjoyed. Like, I know Katie, this was one of her options. I loved Gargoyles.
Yeah.
As a
Gargoyles
child.
is good.
I think it was a really exceptional cartoon, and considering that it was for children and it dealt with pretty heavy themes, that was one of my favorite cartoons. I loved watching it.
I remember Goliath had a really deep voice.
Yeah, it was
He
And I liked
Keith
it.
David.
I don't know who that is. Who's Keith David? What has he
You know
done?
Keith David.
You
Do
know
I?
him. You've
Yeah,
heard his
he-
voice before, and
the
you've
dude's
seen
in
him
everything.
in live action.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Let me look up the movies he's in. I'm sorry, because I'm blank. The one coming to mind is They
He's
Live.
in
but,
he's in all the Riddick movies, or except for the most recent.
he's in Requiem for a Dream.
Oh.
He's in Thing. He's in The Nice Guy.
He's
Oh,
in
yeah?
Princess and the Frog.
Oh, yeah?
He's in Platoon.
Yeah, that's right. He
Crash.
plays,
Oh, yeah, Coraline, he plays the cat.
Yeah.
Roadhouse.
He's in Rick and Morty. He plays the president.
But yeah, he has that deep voice. He was the Arbiter in Halo.
He also does voice acting for video games.
Yeah, he has a very nice voice. Like,
Spawn.
very- yeah.
He's in
You're
Hercules, apparently. I forget who he voices.
We're together again.
Yeah.
I love
The
Mr.
intro
President.
was
Oh,
very
that
epic.
guy.
Yeah.
You see his
Yeah.
face and you know exactly who he is.
That guy.
I know him mostly from like Riddick. I think is
I
like,
love Keith
live
David.
action wise. Plays the holy man.
Keith Davis.
David.
David. Maybe that's why it took me so long to find him.
Maybe.
Yeah. Gargoyles was good stuff. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Did you watch that?
Never watched that.
No, why not?
I have a
You have
friend
something
who's
against
really
turtles?
obsessed.
There were just certain cartoons I didn't watch. I don't know
I'm
why.
saying I didn't watch.
What about the Mighty Ducks?
You know who
No.
voices
I know of it.
Shredder on the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Who?
Uncle Phil.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, that's him.
Nice. I didn't know that.
I never really watched it, but I remember hearing that. I was like, oh, that's cool. Uncle Phil was everywhere.
Yeah. Ninja Turtles was where it was at for me.
I didn't grow up watching Teenage Mutant Ninja
I
Turtles.
grew up at a time when there just wasn't much of it on. Like,
Yeah.
I think they had, like, a short reboot in the 2000s, but
Yeah.
that was it. And, like,
I've never made a-
I remember seeing some of the live-action movies, though, and those were very
Those
fun.
were great.
Yeah.
You should shoot some choreo.
Turtle in a half shell, turtle power.
Turtles.
I actually,
four.
my Teenage Mutant
There's four.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle watching was in the 2000s.
Yeah.
When they came out again after I got out of school, I would watch it.
The,
I have a friend who's
the
really
comics
obsessed
they're
with it, but I
based
don't
on
watch
are,
it.
like,
Get out of here.
really gory, apparently, and, like, nasty, yeah.
Oh.
I don't know how it, like, ended up becoming, like, a kid's show, but...
Which one?
Which one?
The original comics for Teenage Mutant
Oh
Ninja
yeah,
Turtles.
Oh, yeah.
The IDW ones. Oh no. My friend
Must have
collects
turned
them, and
everything
so
down.
when I go to the city and I find one of the comics, I take a quick look at it just to see what it looks like, and I've seen what they do.
Oh, and you know who wrote the theme song for it? Chuck Lorre.
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm almost certain that, like, Charlie Sheen in 2.5 Men is meant to be Chuck Lorre.
Oh, yeah?
Because, like, in that he writes, like, theme songs for kids shows and
That's
stuff.
true,
And, like,
yeah.
I think that's just him.
Wow.
I think that's autobiographical, which makes the ending where he drops a piano on him even crazier.
Yeah, right?
I'm sorry, I'm coming in with
No,
knowledge
you're
of the
good.
finale of 2.5 Men.
Yeah. Yeah, I only watched that scene, I think after you told me about it.
Because it's deranged.
Yeah, and it's not even close to looking like Charlie Sheen either. The guy is clearly wearing a huge wig, and he looks so much shorter and stockier than Charlie Sheen.
Piano drops on him, and it cuts to Chuck Lorre himself, giving a thumbs up and saying "winning."
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that episode too.
Imagine having that kind of money to just end the show like that.
Just self-immolate.
Yeah.
Before, I didn't recognize where that's from.
This one?
No.
This one?
No, the one
So,
where he was
all right,
standing
I had a
on
question.
Yes, sir.
I don't mind this, but how come sometimes Courage speaks in full, eloquent sentences, and other times he just goes?
I
he's in two.
don't know. I'm liable to think that when he's talking to the audience, he's talking in full-on sentences. But when he's talking, trying to get Muriel or Eustace to some aspect, all you hear is dog speak.
So we hear him as human speech, but they hear him as.
Well, he breaks the.
Yeah.
He
He breaks the fourth wall all
and he
the
like
time.
looks at you and he just like. Ooh.
Yeah.
Then this is a minor thing, but I love the wallpaper choice. It's very much just like you're at your grandparents' house.
I
Yeah.
mean, they did get like old couple in an old house
Yeah.
with their old wallpaper and their creaky chairs and her nightgown.
I will have to say I love the opening to the cartoon.
Agreed. Yeah, the opening was fun.
That was very funny. Like I thought it was. I thought the butler finally got what he deserved when he just says, just tosses there and whistles and just walks when he hears his the former master dying. I thought that was well done. Like that was a funny scene. I was like, at first I thought, oh, is he gonna go back and help the guy that just fired him? Like, nope. And he just walks on. That was a good scene. I was happy for the shadow too. So was the shadow really supposed to be the guy's shadow, or was the shadow
He was the shadow
something
of
he
the
acquired?
old man. No, it's just
No,
the
it's just
shadow
the
of
shadow.
the
Yeah.
old man, and so it kind of took his. It's kind of like I guess like a ghost in a sense, but instead of him having like another.
Oh, okay.
Like spirit,
Because the
it
shadow
was-
seemed so
yeah.
different from the old guy. I thought maybe it was something he had acquired and it didn't really belong to him.
He just wanted to be in the stars.
He wanted to be an entertainer.
Exactly. Although he was kind of a jerk.
Yeah.
I love that scene. Used to scare me though as a kid. Like when he's going down the stairs
To the
and he's
basement.
got the shadow thing, and he's just like, whoa! And you're like, whoa.
I love the
Crazy
fact-
Cowardly Dog did so good with jump scares. You're like,
Yeah.
whoa.
Well, I love the fact that every time Courage holds something like a flashlight or something like that, it's like 10 times larger than his actual body.
Everything is like super big.
Yeah.
So, which is it's actually kind of funny because I didn't watch this on HBO Max.
Where'd you watch it?
I watched it somewhere else on the internet. I'm not gonna get into that. And so Lewis and Joe were telling me about the first episode. I was like, that's not the first episode. I watched 2 different episodes, but I remember Courage so vividly
Yeah.
that I knew where we were. The first episode I actually saw was actually the a night at the Cat's Motel,
Oh.
and then Cajun Granny Stew.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and I guess HBO Max put that one later on in the series. So, I was
So
like,
what is the actual first episode?
So,
I don't know.
according to like online, it's like the
All right,
first,
that's like
the one
saying
I watched,
according to a book.
original air date
Where online
Original
are you
air
finding this
date
information?
for this is on Wikipedia's
Cite
episode
your
guide.
sources.
Wikipedia's episode guide
Okay. It's reputable.
says
Is it though?
the episodes I watched were original air dates were November
friend of mine
12th.
to correct a Wikipedia article the other day. She's an editor, and I was really mad. I saw something that I knew was false, and I was
Oh, yeah?
just, no, this cannot stand.
I learned recently that they hire librarians to
Hey,
not
go
fact check, but
librarians.
to actually write up pieces
Really?
for Wikipedia. So it's like it's an okay source, but there are people out there that will be like,
But yeah,
"Blah, blah,
and
blah,
and
blah."
this claim ended up getting
Yes.
repeated like in other places online, and I was really mad. So
What claim was that?
it was about a British film from the '60s called Victim, and they said it was the first film to use the word homosexual, and I was like, that's
That
not
seems wrong.
correct. I was like,
The first film ever?
yeah. And
In the US.
I knew, I don't know what
He said it was a British film.
what the first movie was to use
But
it,
there's no way that was.
But yeah, I know I've seen
first
Gwen or
one ever.
Glenda, and I know the word comes up in there.
Yeah.
And that's from 53, so I was like, this is wrong. This
Yeah.
is false. This is straight up
Weird.
false.
You know, somehow I thought that it was a movie claim that would
Yeah.
get you.
I mean, that's what I know.
That's
So,
your passion in
yeah.
life. So yes.
So,
So yeah, Night at the Cats Motel's
that is
original
the
air date
same
was
as-
November 12th. And it says the ones you guys watched aired on November 19th.
but you
So,
know,
but I don't
That
know
doesn't
why-
necessarily mean that's the first episode.
That's true. That's
That's,
true. But
like-
this is their
Well,
air dates.
well, that's sort of confirmed by another site that I'm on. But
The
that,
Yeah,
air dates do
it
not
was weird.
necessarily mean that that's the way the showrunners intended those
but
shows
that
to be
honestly
That's
released.
makes
true.
that
That's
honestly
true.
makes
It was
sense
a weird
to
first
me
episode.
because I felt like I was entering the middle of a story with that first episode.
I mean,
Yeah,
every
it felt
episode's like that.
weird.
It's not.
Yeah,
you don't really get an
Courage
intro.
not-
Until you get like to the last season when they actually talk about Courage's like origin story.
yes and no.
What's origin story?
He does how he meets Muriel and his parents.
But
It's just
and whatever.
funny.
Like
It's
I
just
don't know.
fun
I've
to-
seen a lot of it. They all just kind of start off like, all right, here
yeah,
you go.
I mean, Courage the Cowardly Dog is known, like for me, also is also known as being as not following a plot. It's
No,
just,
there is no coherent plot.
No.
They're all standalone episodes of just a dog
Yeah.
who's trying to protect
his people.
people.
Half of them
As
end with
person.
Eustace.
Yeah, I was gonna be like
getting-
not
yeah.
Eustace, but it's like more obligation at that point. He's like, he's like, I guess I gotta save him. She loves him for whatever. She's the person who was like, I can fix him.
Yeah.
She's a saint. She's like, it's okay.
He was probably a bad boy back in,
In the
The
day.
day.
She was still a saint.
and she was, she was the good girl who was like, who got corrupted by the bad boy.
But she's not even corrupt.
No.
She's the purest person I've ever seen on
I love
television.
how Muriel hits him on the head with a rolling pin.
Yeah, she's like, don't you dare abuse that dog.
Yeah.
She loved that dog.
I'm gonna get me mallet.
yeah.
Yeah, he's got that. I love cartoonish, like, Looney Tune, like, there's a pocket and you know how big a pocket is, but then he just pulls out the huge mallet and you're
Yeah.
like, where did that come from? Fairy pockets.
Yeah. Yeah. I do too.
So, no, I love LeQuack though. I love this is not his first appearance in the show. This is
No.
his first appearance in the show, but it's not the last.
Time
He comes up in like 2 other ones.
Yeah.
Same
Oh,
with
that's it?
Cats. Well, there's another one called The Return
Oh, look
of
back.
LeQuack. And then there's one where all the villains, or at least some of the major villains from the first season, come back and they want to try to kill Courage because he keeps foiling their plans.
Of course.
And I think my favorite character is like Cats.
Yeah.
Everything is Cats. He's like,
The
welcome
real-
to Cats Motel. I'm Cats.
Yeah.
He's just so weird. And his music, the little...
It's like this jazzy.
It's like you always know.
There was one with a space duck voiced by Ringo Starr that I was a fan
So,
of.
That was the pilot episode. Is the one about
No,
the brothers,
it wasn't.
or
it
was
was the brothers. Yeah.
That was the
Yeah, they
original
didn't get
pilot
Ringo for the
episode.
pilot. It was not the pilot. I
It
know
was not
that.
the pilot? It was something
there
called
were
the Space
there were
Chicken Brothers.
yeah. I think it was Duck Brothers.
Yeah,
I don't
they're
think.
Oh, the ones with the boo.
Yeah, yeah, that one's Ringo.
You're right. Sorry, there was one. It was the chicken from outer space. That was the pilot, not the ducks. You're right. The ducks. They were ducks, not chickens. Ducks. I love the chicken episode. Everything about Courage was so much fun. I initially thought that some of them were really sentimental.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are just kind of goofy and fun. Some of them were terrifying. Do you remember the one where they win tickets to the big city?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And Courage is going through the hotel rooms.
Yeah.
And like the violin one,
Mm-hmm.
the girl like exorcists her head and she's like, "Ree!" And you're like, what is that?
Yeah. Yeah.
And there was like a talking cockroach and it was like Bushwick.
Yeah.
Everyone calls me Wick.
Yeah.
And that was it. Lewis is like, what is this show? I don't know.
So the whole thing is, would you watch it?
Would you continue watching it after watching the first episode?
I mean, I occasionally go back to reminisce about it. I haven't gone back to like fully watch it again, but if somebody has it on, I'm like, oh, I love this show. We'll sit down and watch it. There's so many other shows. I'm like, Courage the Cowardly Dog was more of like a gateway to like, as a child, like
Sheer gateway cartoon drug.
It was not my gateway cartoon, but it was like I really liked creepy things, and there weren't many like horror creepy things that really appealed to me. But Courage was one of those ones where my stepfather and me would sit down and we watch it.
Yeah.
And like we still quote it to like this day. So
I think I agree with Simona. I think it's just watching it now.
it's kind of
It's just a little loud for me now. Like there's just like a lot of like you could tell that this was made for children, obviously. And you could tell that it's just like very much like just too, I don't know, loud in everything it does. It's loud
Courage screams
and
in
it's
every
loud in
episode.
its screaming, it's loud in its visuals. It's just loud. And I don't know that 32-year-old Lewis can take all that in at once. Watching a 30-minute episode of this was tiring. It was tiring. But back in the day, I was like, sitting there with my Fruit Loops and enjoying every minute of it. But this time around, I think I was like, and it makes me wonder, would going back and watching X-Men, would I enjoy it like I did back then?
This is why parents end up loving like Winnie the Pooh, because it's just like, this is calm.
And actually, it's funny that you say that, because I was trying to think of like other shows that I watched. And I was like, I used to watch Arthur, and I was like, that's probably a little earlier though.
Arthur's just a meme now.
I love
Arthur's
Arthur.
really funny.
Yeah.
Some really
It's so
funny
fun. I
bits
love
from
the
it.
like people keep catching it on the headphones constantly. As his headphones go here, they never go
Oh,
to his
yeah.
ears. So they're all like, anteaters can't do that. What? And the fact that he's an anteater and doesn't have like a little.
He did originally,
He
but then
did,
they
yeah,
decided
the
the
books.
design was too upsetting. They said we gotta make him look nicer.
like-
Kids don't want to look at this aardvark.
DW little menace.
Yeah.
I always see that
you-
that image of that sign won't stop me because I can't read.
How do you get square balloons? You blow up square breaths. What?
What were you saying?
No, so it's just like that show. Like looking back on that, I think that one was probably a little quieter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's like
I
Little Lows at
liked it.
Franklin.
I didn't-
I didn't really watch
Junior.
Franklin.
Oh, I
Little
have
Bear.
my
Little Bear was
I
good
hated
stuff.
Little Bear.
But again, these are
quiet.
two different age groups. I think I probably watched like Arthur and stuff when I was like real young,
So you were like
Yeah.
a PBS
like 4 or
kid.
5, and then I probably watched Courage and
When you were in,
Dexter's
like,
Laboratory,
elementary
X-Men.
school.
Yeah, when I was
No,
like
I
9
You
or
were
10.
a WB PBS Cartoon Network kind of guy.
Yeah. I followed that same trajectory
Yeah.
as well.
And Cartoon Network just had. It's been 30 years. Like they just had
yeah.
their
Oh, really?
anniversary. Yeah.
Cool.
Shout out Cartoon Network.
I do want to say though, I watched Courage so much that I actually memorized their introduction, which I absolutely love. I knew you were
Make it
gonna.
happen.
You want me to?
Joe, focus right in.
Please no. We interrupt this program to bring you Courage, the Cowardly Dog Show, starring Courage, the Cowardly Dog. Abandoned as a pup, he was found by Muriel, who lives in the middle of nowhere with her husband Eustace Bagg.
Honestly, that might be how we should start this episode.
But
Yeah.
creepy stuff happens in nowhere. It's up to Courage to save his new home. Stupid dog, you made me look bad. Ooga booga booga. Ah!
That was phenomenal. That was outstanding.
Thank you.
Really. That was great.
Thank you.
That was great. That was great. Voice actors out there, take notes.
No.
You know what was the first original Cartoon Network show?
I know.
Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
Oh,
I
love
do
it.
remember
Wow.
that.
Yeah, because they had no money and
It was Space Ghost
and
hosting
some
his
stoner
late night.
cartoonists were like, all right, what if we just went through old Space Ghost clips and sort of made it look like a talk show and
Yeah.
dubbed it over.
Nice.
They
Yeah.
did like
And-
the spin-off and everything. 2 spin-offs, I think.
Yeah, there was the Brack Show and Harvey Birdman.
Yeah.
There's what was the praying mantis guy's? It was Z. It started with Z.
I forget his name, but
He was my
there's some
favorite.
really funny interviews on there. There's one with Bjork that's pretty killer. There's a great one where it's Radiohead.
Oh, yeah?
There's one where Pavement is the house band, and
Oh.
Space Ghost just keeps calling them the Beatles.
That's great. Oh man.
What's his stupid name? Zorak.
That's
Zorak,
it. Yes.
The guy who sits in the little thing and he's just kind of sarcastic and nasty.
Have you guys listened to any Pavement?
I love Pavement.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's some of their songs like they're just like randomly thrown, like I forget what the one song is, but he's like, and then I'll kill your family, and I'm like, oh my god.
Malcolmus
okay.
loves the lyrical surprise.
But it's such a catchy song, and then you're just like that line. It's like, oh wow. Yeah.
Yeah, they used to like have like a TV.
But yeah, I like Pavement.
Oh,
actually.
now I know what that is.
Yeah.
I never watched it, but looking at the images, I know
Also,
what that is.
I was a very big Powerpuff Girl watcher, and I also memorized the introduction to
I have
Powerpuff
the
Girls.
back-
Powerpuff Girls is pretty good.
Really? You
remember
want
I
me
had
to
the
for this
movie on,
episode?
VHS.
Sugar, spice, and everything nice. These were the ingredients chosen to create the perfect little girls. But Professor Utonium accidentally added another ingredient to the concoction, Chemical X.
Originally,
Wow.
it was a can
Thus-
of whoop ass.
Thus, the Powerpuff Girls were born.
Yeah.
Using their ultra superpowers, Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup have dedicated their lives to fighting crime and the forces of evil.
Yeah, you had a drum and bass
Yeah, you
theme.
really do sound like that guy. Wow, that's pretty good.
Buttercup was my favorite.
I
didn't watch Powerpuff Girls.
Mojo Jojo.
What's that?
I had the
Think about
backpack,
it.
everything.
90s. I like
weird
sometimes
shit,
I
too.
like Dexter's Lab. Other times I didn't.
But the
Yeah.
omelette du fromage episode is like.
I don't know what that is.
That's
yeah.
the one I quote the most. Is the one where he's not good at, like, he has to French test in the morning, but he's a science guy, so he doesn't know it. So he comes up with a device where he's like, oh, I'll just listen to it while I sleep, and then, like, he puts the entire textbook in there so he can learn French, but it gets stuck and it keeps skipping. It says omelette du fromage, omelette du, and so the next day the only thing he can say is omelette du fromage, which is just cheese omelet. And so, like, there's one scene that gets me. He goes to these girls. He's like, omelette du fromage, and they're just like, Dexter, and they're like, don't you say it again? Don't you know that French is the language of love? And he's like, omelette du fromage. And they're like, oh! He has like an album come out.
Mandark's really funny on that show.
Yeah.
His
I
rival.
get a kick out of that.
God,
I don't know.
Mandark's the best.
Maybe just because he's a great image. Like, if you're arguing with someone, if you just send him a picture of Mandark, you
Just
win.
send the laugh to
It's
someone.
just... No, it's just like, no, this is what you look like right now. You're Mandark. I win.
I love Dexter's
All
Laboratory.
right.
Dee Dee. Ooh,
Dee Dee.
what
I like that he
does
had a
this
crush on
button
Dee Dee.
do?
Mandark had a big crush on Dee Dee.
I thought you
Yeah.
meant Dexter for a second. I was like, I don't remember
No,
that.
Dexter
that would've
hates
been
his
bad.
sister.
That would have been
Yeah.
real bad.
That's
Dude,
a weird twist they put in at the end, obviously.
No, it's like a Young Sheldon. I think that's what Young Sheldon tried to model itself after. Was
Yeah.
the sister's clearly more socially
Look,
inept but smart.
As
but-
someone who has watched a lot of Young Sheldon, that's not what it's modeled after. I can tell you for a fact.
Well.
I'm not proud that I've seen a lot of Young Sheldon, but I've seen it, and I can tell you it is not similar to Dexter's Lab.
TikTok's filled with like doing these like little like they take clips from TV shows and like a 1, 2, 3 where you can watch a whole scene of it, and it's just like either like Grey's Anatomy, The Good Doctor, House, or Young Sheldon.
What do you mean? Or
I couldn't follow.
That's them. It's TikTok will take a part of an episode because they're like, oh, this is
And-
so intense,
and
and
you have
they'll
to
cut
guess
into
which
3.
episode it is?
No,
Which
you don't have
show?
to guess anything. They just show it on there, and so they like change the audio, but it's always either a Grey's Anatomy clip, a House clip, The Good Doctor, which is the one with the
The
I think
kid
it's
from
the-
Bates Motel.
Yeah.
Is that what it is? I was gonna say, oh, okay.
You shouldn't say kid, he's probably like...
Yeah, he's a grown man now.
He's a man. And then
A
there's
man,
like
man.
Young Sheldon clips. It's like all the rest are like medical emergencies or like Dharma like videos from YouTube, or it's literally just Young Sheldon clips. So everything I know about Young Sheldon,
I don't
I've
think
seen on
I've ever
TikTok.
seen any clip of Young Sheldon except for if there was like a commercial on for it.
It's just him being like, I don't get this social. Cue.
I also
I'm gonna
didn't.
learn
I
about
also
it, but-
didn't watch The Big Bang Theory though. So
Good.
Honestly, young Sheldon's probably better.
Oh yeah.
The
Oh,
kid
yeah,
who
'cause
plays
it's
the kid who plays Sheldon as a kid
Because-
is great.
Because Sheldon's
He's
not a
adorable.
monster yet
No.
in Young Sheldon.
Oh, yeah?
Whereas in Big Bang Theory, it's just like, why do they even hang out with this dude?
Yeah.
Oh,
Money.
What do you mean?
He's like got all these like he clearly. Did you see that apartment?
What do
It's
you-
like another friend situation. He's like
They all work at the same place, Amanda.
but he's clearly the one making the most money.
I don't think that's ever established.
No, that isn't ever
That's his
established.
apartment, though.
Wasn't
No, Leonard
uh,
lives there too.
and
Yeah.
But I thought he had the apartment first, and then Leonard
No,
came later
no.
on to rent out the room.
and again,
Sheldon-
I haven't seen it, but wasn't Howard? Isn't Howard like a NASA engineer?
Yes.
I'm sure-
they're all pretty rich.
But he like
Yeah.
lives in a different area.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but Sheldon had a
I
roommate
don't know why I'm
before
getting heat
Leonard
over Big
came
Bang.
Yeah.
became
But-
his roommate again.
These are the things that matter, people.
But yeah, like I don't know, because like young Sheldon just wants to be the Wonder Years, so like
Oh,
it's
yeah.
a little more tolerable.
Yeah.
Wallace Shawn shows up, Ed Begley Jr.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
You know, it's like occasionally you see a guy you like in there. You're like, oh, that's what they've been up to.
So final thoughts.
I love Courage the Cowardly Dog and all the other Cartoon Network shows I used to watch growing up. So I mean, I will continue watching it.
I don't think old Lewis can watch it. Young Lewis would continue to watch it. But I'm just old now.
You're not old. We're the same age.
Yeah, we're the same age. You're older than me.
But
Liz.
there is just I have an oldness in my heart, I
No,
think.
you don't.
You're an
I
old
know.
soul. You're an
Yeah.
old soul.
Yeah. Like I'm already at the get off my lawn phase.
Are you
I want a
serious?
You know
Nerf
what I
gun
mean?
so
Yeah.
I can like pew, pew, get off my lawn. Pew, pew.
You want to get a
One of a
gun?
A Nerf gun. A Nerf gun. Nerf gun.
She
Nerf
said
gun.
Nerf gun.
Nerf. I don't want a real one. I don't believe in that. But like, a Nerf gun so I can like shoot the little like pews.
I was gonna say that's a real gun is not the way to get people off your
No,
lawn.
that is not what I want to do. I do not
You
want
get
to own one.
some other people on your lawn
Yeah.
if you're doing that.
Yeah.
I want to get like the Gatlin one. Like, go big or go home. Get all the extensions. Extender.
Joe, what do you think?
Transformer at that point.
It's a good show. I won't be binging it anytime soon, but I might throw on an episode. You know.
I am not gonna lie. I did binge watch the entire series of Courage the Cowardly Dog.
It's very
Before this
very
episode?
bingeable.
No, not
Oh.
no.
How many seasons is it?
It's
There's
4
4.
or 5. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay,
it's-
it's doable.
Yeah.
I will watch it again. Maybe I just changed my mind and I will watch it. What was the thing that tried to be like Transformers that was animals?
Beast Wars.
Yeah.
Beast, yeah.
Yeah, it was actually Transformers.
Zoids.
Like,
Oh, it
it's-
was
yeah,
Transformers.
but
Oh,
that
okay.
was their thing.
But they wanted
That one
animals.
they turned into like dinosaurs and stuff.
I don't know what made me think. Something you just said made that show pop in my head, but that was another one that I used to watch.
Zoids.
What about you, Simona?
I don't think it's something that I would actively choose to watch. Like I said, even when it aired, it was almost like if an episode was on, I'd watch it, but it was not something I actively wanted to watch. Like I said, I think it's the animation style. I think it's that it's, for lack of a better term, too loud for me.
Simona's like me. She's telling people to get off her lawn too.
No, but
I don't
I-
think it's an old soul.
honestly, even when I was younger, I watched certain cartoons. They weren't necessarily, I guess, the popular ones that most people were watching, but yeah, it's like I'd rather watch an episode of like Winnie the Pooh than because it's like it's slow, it's sort of meditative. Like, even the children's like educational programs that I liked watching, like I loved Lamb Chops.
I remember
More
Lamb
so than
Chop.
Barney. I used to watch Barney, but if I had to, it would be
Yeah.
Lamb Chops.
I was
Yeah.
a Barney. I was a Barney.
Nah, you used to
I
get
was a
me.
Barney
You used to
kid.
get me fun of for watching Barney
You
back in the
did?
day.
I was
Yeah.
deep in the everyone hates Barney era
Yeah.
when I was growing up.
I remember I faked it. I was like, I hate Barney too. And I was like, my mom was like, shut up. You used to watch it. And I'd be like, shut up, Mom.
What was going on in our culture that like
I don't
So
know.
much of,
it
like-
was like Barney was associated with like being a baby.
But like
It was a baby
so much
show.
of like the early internet was like I'm gonna shoot Barney with a bazooka and
Oh,
kill him. Like what was
I
happening?
really
remember.
don't know.
I think it's. I wonder if it's because he was. I mean, that was the whole point of the cartoon. The cartoon was meant to inspire children to be their best. But I just think sometimes the very nature of Barney is what made people want to hate him.
Remember the first movie that came out?
No, I didn't watch. I don't know. No, I mostly watched the series. I never watched any films. But I don't know.
Good.
Is Sesame Street better?
It was good.
I love Sesame
Sunny
Street.
Days.
I didn't really watch Sesame.
Same. As a kid, I did not really watch it, but it was my siblings until they were born, and I used to sit down and watch them. Yeah.
I never watched Sesame Street.
Different households, they put on different things. It's
You see that clip where one of them has a pet rock, and she
Rocco?
keeps insisting it's alive, and
Rocco.
Elmo gets genuinely really mad.
I know that episode. I watched that with my sister. Rocco isn't real. Rocco can't do anything. Rocco's just a rock.
I just love the image of Elmo having a meltdown.
I think in the 70s, though, there was this thing where you could get your own pet rock.
Oh yeah,
my mom had
pet
a pet
rocks
rock.
are still a thing. I think.
My mom had it. They tried to bring them back. It was nuts. My mom
My
had
uncle
one.
gave me a rock for Christmas once.
Are you serious?
I'm not joking.
Was
Are you
it
sure
at
it
least
was a
a
coal
cool
you were
looking
being
rock?
It was a pretty cool look, and apparently it was a moon rock.
Okay.
Well,
So that's a cool rock.
That sounds different. The way you opened that up
He
made
just
your
gave me
uncle
a
seem
rock.
thoughtless. He
No.
just gave me a rock.
It was
into your
my.
yard,
It was a joke because he asked me what I had wanted for Christmas, and I was like, I don't want anything, just a rock. And so he was like, all right, we'll get you a rock.
Do you still have that? If it was a moonstone?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That must be very pretty.
Best gift ever.
Yeah, he also gave me a sweater afterwards, but he hid it so
Had a
that
rock
he
on it?
wanted to see my face when I opened a box that had a rock in it.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a weird reaction. It's
Yeah.
what's he gonna do? What's the reaction gonna be? You gonna be like the avocado kid? It's thanks. Love that video.
But I liked it. I liked Courage. Again, it's just
Who's the voice actor for Courage?
I can find that out for you.
He's got a crazy voice.
I
Sounds
have
like
it.
he smokes a pack a day, and he's from Brooklyn. I don't know.
He's
it's
on
interesting.
anti-anxiety, man. That's what he's on. He's on that strong. All right, so Courage the Cowardly Dog was played by Marty Grabstein, and there were 3 other people as well. So let me see.
Oh,
Because
this guy looks exactly like who I was expecting.
So the guy from the TV show is, yes, Marty Grabstein. The other one's he's been in a Scooby-Doo crossover.
Oh, Scooby-Doo.
That
was not
crossover's
him.
awful.
Yeah,
All
no.
right, put it on as a joke at a friend's house the other week, and we were like, this feels viscerally wrong.
What
This
does?
it was a crossover between Scooby-Doo and Courage that they put out last
that's
year
right, I
or something.
remember.
It was so
They did
weird. Yeah, no, it's not good. Don't watch it.
Well, I mean, now my curiosity has been piqued.
It just felt weird. I don't know. I was watching and I was like, this feels like
Can you find that on YouTube? Do you
it's
think?
on HBO Max.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a Cartoon Network product. It was one of the ones. I think they did try to do a couple crossovers.
Apparently, the crossover with Scooby-Doo and Supernatural is really good.
Also, it was true the 2 voice actors of Eustace before the 3rd one became a thing did both die. One died in 2003, which was a couple years since it aired it on Cartoon Network in 1999. He went on until 2003 and he died. And then the Arthur Anderson was later on and he died in 2013.
Oh.
And just to bring it back to Scooby-Doo, something I highly recommend you check out, the Scooby-Doo Project. It was it aired once on Cartoon Network in the late 90s, and it's a Scooby-Doo parody of the Blair Witch Project. It's really funny.
Oh, yeah?
It's
Stop.
really
I
funny.
know that one.
Yeah,
Raggy.
it's good.
Did you know Alan Cummings did a voice for Courage the Cowardly Dog?
Oh,
He did
who is he?
Rumpelstiltskin.
Oh.
Rumpled Stiltskin, sorry. And Jim Cummings did the Great Fusilli, who's the alligator with the puppets. That was a creepy episode.
That was a creepy, but a good one.
I'm trying to think. There's always a bunch of. This was my favorite episode. This is Dr. Zoloff. Zoloff. That was my favorite. Rat. The happy plums and everything. That's what I call myself when I get out of the shower.
You call yourself
I
the
call
happy
myself
girl?
Rat when I come out of the shower, and I always model after. When I come out of the shower, my eyes are really red, and I look gross.
What are you doing in the shower, man?
Taking a shower. I'm washing. I don't know.
You know,
It's the hot water that makes my eyes warm.
How hot is the water, fam?
I don't know.
Oh my god.
I really like hot water, but it's like one of those things where like I soak and I'm doing things, and so it's like when I come out, all the steam and stuff makes my eyes red, and so I come out and I'm like red. I feel like one of those like wet rats that you see, the ugly little wet rat.
Same thing happens to my older sister.
It's
She
the
gets
worst.
red eye.
You know, you're not supposed to take really hot showers. It's bad for your skin.
What do you want from me? Look, I'm a ginger. I'm just plagued with bad skin no matter what I do. Lotion don't work.
Should
Lotion
be taking
sucks.
So
cool shower. Katie, take us
Yes.
out, but you got to do it in the cowardly way.
I can't.
You can. You
I
can do
can't.
it. You can
No,
do
I-
it, Katie.
No.
Come on, everybody.
No,
Katie.
it's not.
Katie.
It's not going to
Katie.
sound. It's not going. No, I can't.
I'm disappointed.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Do your thing, Katie, in your own way.
Thank you, Simona.
You're welcome.
I appreciate you.
We love you.
Do it in the courage of cowardly. You can do it.
Can you do the laugh that's at the very end of the thing from the studio? There you go.
That's good.
Do you want to take us out?
No, you can go right ahead.
And with that, we'll see you on the next episode of the Caffeinated Librarians. Bye.
Bye, everyone.